I'm Nicole Jones, host of Mediocre to Masterful, a podcast teaching you how to go after your goals that you've pushed to the side. This is a resource to help you be fearless with your goals and familiar with the feeling of success. This podcast includes best practices to elevate your goals in multiple areas to help you pursue mastery over your life.
Welcome to the 7th episode of Mediocre to Masterful. I am just so happy with how everything is unfolding with this platform. I'm just in complete awe. And every time this show airs, a new episode drops, I'm just like, I can't believe it. I hit another episode. I just did another episode. And I guess it's because, all the planning and the work that went behind it, leading up to actually launching the podcast, it's just like, wow, this is actually taking shape. It is taking form. It is alive and breathing. And I am just, and will always be amazed at everything that's happening with this platform. And thank you all again for all of your comments and support. And thank you for telling me your stories, your personal stories of success and how some of the episodes have helped you in your path and, you trying to achieve some of the goals that you have set out for yourself. It seems like quite a few of the guests that have already been on the episode kind of struck a chord with a lot of you guys, and I am excited about that. And that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted you to feel connected to some of the things that I was talking about, or some of the guests were talking about and sharing with you in terms of how to go from mediocre to masterful. And I am just so happy that this platform is doing exactly what I envisioned it to do. So continue listening, continue sharing and giving your feedback. I truly appreciate it. And it's really helping shape, how I, continue to improve this platform. And, what other things I want to add on, in the future. Everything that you guys are giving me and responding and sending me messages, all that information is just great. And it is very useful for me, and making sure that the information that I'm giving to you all through these episodes is helpful and in line with some of the questions that you already have, and just looking for insight. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. And really, this is kind of in vein to today's topic of good things come to those who start. I know we have all heard the phrase, or most of us have heard the phrase, good things come to those who wait. And that is absolutely true. Like, there's nothing wrong with that phrase. Good things do happen to those who wait. But let us not take that out of context. Good things come to those who wait, who are actually making an attempt towards something in their life. It does not give you a hall pass to be out here procrastinating on things that you need to do. So the wait comes when you have actually put some work behind it, not that you have created and dreamt up this idea and was like, okay, bet this is going to work out. But you're not actually doing any work behind it. You didn't take any steps towards this coming into fruition. So good things come to those who start. And I will always preach, there is so much power in the pursuit of your goals. We have to get out of the mediocre mindset of I deserve, fill in the blank. When you have done absolutely nothing to get to the next level, you do not deserve. If you think you deserve a promotion because you've been able to execute everything required within your job description, you have successfully did what you get paid to do. And that's about it. Now, if you have gone above and beyond your job requirements and, you're being recognized for some work that you've done, some recommendations that you've made to improve business, then yes, then you will be recognized for a promotion. But if you are just doing the bare minimum and think, I deserve this promotion because I'm able to come in on time every single day, you are stuck in a mediocre mindset, because that is a basic requirement of any job, not just the job that you are on, but of any job. We have to think bigger How can we make a greater impact? How can we stand out, from the crowd? How can we make a difference? And if I truly want to be able to receive that promotion, what am I doing different than my coworkers? Am I just, are we all doing the same thing? We're clocking in and clocking out at the same time. We're going to lunch together. We are meeting our quota each day, depending on what type of job you're in. We're meeting that 100 quota each day. Just certain things that are just like the basic requirements. If you are just meeting those, minimum requirements, then you may not actually be considered for that promotion that you think you deserve. Now, if you are going beyond and finding more efficient ways to meet a quota, you have found more efficient ways to, streamline a process within your company. You have adopted new technologies and tools that has made, your daily work a breeze. Then yes, you are that person that needs to be recognized because you have put in the work. You have put in efforts further than what was in the requirements given to you in the beginning. Now, on another note, if you are that person who has gone above and beyond and you feel like your company does not appreciate the efforts that you're doing or have done, I think it's time to look elsewhere. Like, it's time for you to feel appreciated and feel like you are valued at the company that you work, because you are the person who's like the star leader. Like, you are just the person that just knocks stars out of the park each and every time. But if your company is not also seeing that and you feel like you are being pushed to the side for further opportunities or a larger income, I would strongly suggest that you start looking elsewhere. And that's just from personal experience. But again, I digress. And that's a totally different topic. But for this show, we will stick with good things come to those who start. We will walk through 3 pointers to see good things come to you as a result of you starting and actively going after your goals. So the 3 points I'll touch on is be realistic. Be realistic about what you're planning and how you actually execute it. Get resilient. How to bounce back when you're going through this process of achieving some of the things that you are planning for yourself. And then thirdly, reap the rewards. I think this is a good step because it's a reminder that as you are going through these steps, make sure you take time out to reward yourself, celebrate those small wins, celebrate those big wins, celebrate those milestones throughout the process. So the first point about be realistic. I think this point is very important because nobody knows you better than you. And when it comes to creating a game plan and preparing a plan to achieve some of your goals, you cannot stretch yourself too thin. And then you also can't stretch yourself too thin. And you also can't give yourself too much slack if you're a person who procrastinates. When you're preparing a game plan, think about how you work on a daily basis. If you have a daily routine that you are doing already, like you do this, as soon as you wake up, I do these things in the morning, during lunch or my lunch break, whatever, I do these things during that time. And then when I get home, I'm doing, these next set of things, whatever these routines are. If you're a person who on a daily basis, you have to do the same thing at the same time or around the same time, then you will be the person to create a game plan where that kind of fits in those windows. Create a game plan that already kind of fits into your routine so it doesn't feel like you're breaking out of something that you have already set up for yourself. If you are a person who, you say, I'm going to work out 3 days out of the week, and, day 2 comes and you're like, what, I'm going to go tomorrow because I'm going to stop by Chick-fil-A on my way home. So I'm going to make that up tomorrow. Then that tomorrow comes and you're like, what, I'm going to save my last 2 days for working out until the end of the week. That way I can do it back to back. Then the end of the week comes and you're like, what? I forgot about that birthday party. And then I forgot about that brunch on the next day. So I'm going to try again next week and do it all over again. Like if you were that person and you cannot keep a good daily routine or consecutive routine, you might want to break out some of your goals or your game plan. Kind of stagger it throughout the week. to get you started on achieving some of your goals. Again, you, like if that first person that I just described kind of fits within your description and that second person, pick which one, or if I didn't, if there are many other ways that you can plan and how you kind of keep a routine, but just think through, okay, if I am that person, let me plan around the way that I already operate. Again, if you are the person who continues to procrastinate, you might want to put in maybe just like a weekly touch points with yourself to achieve certain goals, just to get you started and make sure you are being active towards a lot of the goals that you want to achieve. The biggest thing is that you are able to, one, create that plan, be realistic about that plan that fits within your schedule, and you don't feel like you have failed at something else because, now I can't really achieve these goals because I have allowed procrastination to stop me. If you are sticking to being realistic with how you already operate, it will work out for you. You just have to be, true to yourself. But once you are realistic with this plan, you actually have to stick with the plan and make sure you are doing this and have touch points to say, okay, this week I was able to check off this goal. The next week I was able to start on this new task that kind of helps me with my larger goal. And, this continues on and on until you are actually able to meet your full goal by doing these little mini steps. Or you can also include milestones. This is something that I do for myself, where if I have a goal to work out, I'm just going to use any goal. And these might be fake numbers because I don't remember what my actual numbers were. But if I have a goal to work out and I want to get to the weight of, 130 or something like that. My goal weight is 130. So within that time, let's say it's within 2 months and I'm currently at 135. I'm going to put in a goal, to work out 2 or 3 days out of the week, do like a body exam or a check-in where they can check in on your body fat and your body mass and your muscle weight and your water weight, all this great stuff. It's called like a body intake or something like that. But I will set a goal to check in on that weight within a month and a half's time span. But let's say midway within that schedule, I'll put in like a check-in, that embodied exam, where I do the check-in and make sure that my numbers are moving in the right direction that I want it to. That way I don't feel like I am only checking in on that particular goal once it's complete, like once I reach my deadline. And then once I get to my deadline, I feel disappointed because I didn't reach that weight of 130. Like if I put in a milestone to do like a weigh-in to check on that, then I know I can see progress and that I'm on the right track. Or if I'm off going in the wrong direction, then I know I need to make some adjustments, get some additional help, ask for some coaching, change my diet, whatever. So when you include those milestones, it gives you that capability to basically just like a pulse check to make sure that you are going in the right direction of your goals. You really have to stick with your plan and be realistic about what that plan is and make sure that you are following that in order for you to feel fulfilled, for you to feel happy and successful in what it is that you want to do. You have to treat this plan like, once you give it a deadline, treat it like there is a cases full of money at the end of this plan, and make sure you're achieving that, because once you achieve it, there is a sense of success. You have achieved something that you have been telling yourself you wanted to achieve for umpteen months, and now you have actually done that. For instance, during the development of this podcast, I knew I wanted to have shows ready and, a plan leading up to the end of this year. Because realistically, I didn't want to be editing every single day and putting content together last minute. Like, that just did not feel right. Like, I just did not want that for myself. So I knew I had to plan, create milestones in which I would have like a certain amount of shows already created, and then, leave some pockets of time in between shows for me to be a little bit more flexible, or kind of make time for things that I couldn't schedule for, meaning like if I had to switch around dates for some shows, I gave myself pockets of time where I kind of left some dates open so I can shuffle around if needed to. So really, like, throughout spring and summer, I created a schedule for interviews, when I was going to edit these shows and when the episodes would actually air. So it really allowed me more flexibility and more time to plan and kind of not feel rushed in the process, because the last thing you want, especially if you have a public platform, is to feel like you have rushed the process and it's not your best work. So planning saves you a lot of frustration in the long run. Now, some things you can't account for in your planning process, but that's where you give yourself that buffer time for those, what I like to call uh-oh moments. So again, like I mentioned, I had those pockets of time not scheduled because I wanted to leave some flexibility for myself in case, whatever happened. I don't know, maybe a show didn't work out, or meaning that there were some issues with the audio. Just kind of some flexibility in there for those uh-oh moments. And you have to set that in your own plans, because everything will not always go according to plan. So you just have to be prepared to be flexible, but still be in line with the plan that you set out for yourself, and kind of change course if need to. And that's another thing when you are creating your plan, that sometimes you do have to change course. Sometimes you do have to adjust what you originally planned, because things will change. And I think actually Nina mentioned that in the last episode, if you heard that podcast about turning your ideas into lucrative goals, that things will change in the process and you just have to be flexible. The biggest step in being realistic is, after you have set out your plan, start. Just do it. Get out there, get active. Make sure you are being active and pursuing different things that will ultimately lead you to your larger goal. It is a rewarding experience, and you really are activating your best self by, actually doing what you have set out for yourself. And let me tell you, by not planning ahead and putting some fire behind my goals, I would not have time for other things. Like, within this month of the launch of this podcast, I have had 3 interviews with other outlets about my platform. I've been able to attend some amazing events that align extremely well with a lot of the messaging that I'm sharing with you all, and meeting some new people that have been a blessing to this process and will ultimately be on this show for 2019. Like, the guest list is growing, and opportunities have just been endless. It's crazy. It's a blessing, and it's just been the best experience ever. I can't believe all this has happened literally within a month. But had I not planned ahead, I would have had to turn some of those events down. Like, I couldn't come because I'm trying to edit. I would have had to shuffle around my editing to sit in on some of the interviews that, these people reached out to me for. And everything would have just been like a complete fail. Had I not planned in the beginning to do some of these things ahead of time, I would have blocked a lot of these opportunities that have now come, literally, it feels like coming out of the sky. I would have had to make some major adjustments, and I would have really felt rushed. I would have felt like I didn't have enough time. I would have felt like, there's not enough time in the day. I would have felt like, this probably was a bad decision because had I not planned everything out accordingly. And I'm just, no, I did not plan accordingly. Good thing. So again, be realistic about your plan and actually going out there to start your process. Truly, good things come to those who start. I had no idea a lot of these opportunities would come into play after I released, this podcast. I knew there was going to be a lot more of a growing audience, but the type of opportunities align so perfectly with the messaging and my purpose for this platform. So do what it is that will make you happy. I promise you, it will not fail you. And I am a firm believer in the law of attraction. As soon as I read it, I have just been stuck on that. And I'm like, that is the absolute truth. You will always attract the same energy that you give out into this world. So once you go after your purpose, once you start tapping into that entrepreneurial business that you've been thinking about all this time, once you start doing that, that nonprofit work that you want to do so bad with, certain audiences, once you start making changes within yourself so you can attract certain people, it will happen. You just have to start. The opportunities I mentioned happen within less than a month, y'all. Like in less than a month. And I'm like, oh my God, it seems like every other day there's like a new email of opportunities. And I'm like, at one point I'm like, is all of this spam? And it's like, no, this is real. This is real. And it's like, man, this is what this is all for. This is exactly what I was meant to do. And I am just excited about what else this would lead into. But I say all that to say, start. Just go out there and start what it is that you need to do. It happened once I placed my goals first and then made the move towards, what I know will make me happy. No matter what, no matter the circumstances, this is what's going to make me happy. And so I'm going to do this and continue down this path. Which brings me to the second point. Get resilient. Things will happen in life that you just cannot ignore or plan for or, predict. You have to be resilient and know that you have to bounce back. Many resilient people spend a lot of time thinking about how they will achieve their goals and how they will achieve them no matter the circumstances. Being resilient is knowing that you will be stretched. You will be bent all out of shape, but you have to figure out, whatever the situation, how can I snap back? How can I recover from these challenges, these difficulties? What is it, I speak to God a lot, and I'm like, God, what is it that you want me to learn from this? What am I supposed to take out from this lesson? Please, show me the light, show me what it is that you want me to see and learn from this experience. Because even if it's a challenge or a bad experience, there is some good in it because and ultimately it is a learning lesson that is supposed to help you grow and mature as a person to then be able to share that with others, to gain wisdom, to gain new direction and perspective on life and appreciation for everything that you have been given. All of this is required in terms of pursuing your goals. Pursuing your goals is always awesome. You will be, again, from the previous point, you will attract things that are supposed to be in alignment with your purpose. But that does not mean that's not going to come with challenges. Like, it actually might increase. It might be more so. You might run into some more challenges because it's just like this combative fight with good and evil, if you want to put it that way. But you have to be resilient. You have to know that challenges come no matter what. And even the best and the most successful people in the world still run into a lot of challenges. And it really seems like a lot of those challenges are, much bigger because they have much more bigger pockets when you think about some of the large corporations and the self-made millionaires. But they have not allowed that to stop them and continuously pursue even greater opportunities than where they are today. So it doesn't matter who you are at what stage you are in your life, what age you are, what race you are. Challenges will happen, and you have to know you have to be resilient. Don't take it personally. Just think about what is it that I am supposed to gain from this experience. Sit back and think about it. Remove the ego, remove the I deserve mentality. Remove the why is this happening to me thought process, and think about it as this is a part of the process. This is a part of my growth. This is a part of me being able to be a greater version of myself. And I need to be able to tap into a higher version of myself. So I know during this process of elevation, I will continuously run into some challenges. How can I do that? What is the best mindset that I should be in? If it takes you speaking with, whoever your God is, if it takes meditation, if it takes just writing things out, because I know that I'm a complete writer. Like, I literally have to write everything out. All of my thoughts, I just write them out just because I want to know, how to make sense of certain things. And sometimes I go back on those notes and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I thought that, or wow, that actually came into play. So do whatever it is that best suits you to be resilient. Then the last point, after you have made your start and you are being realistic about your game plan, you have put some action behind it, and you are out there going down this list of tasks that you need to achieve. You are being resilient throughout this process because you need to develop and grow. The last part is reap the rewards. Reap the rewards of your hard work, your efforts, and even put in some of those milestones that you create. Put some of those as points of celebration for yourself. Because once you achieve the milestone, then okay, I'm almost there. I'm almost complete with this goal. What is it that I can do to celebrate the success or this midway point of this goal? Especially if it takes a lot out of you. Especially if it is very time consuming and you're just like, I just want to throw in the towel and, Jesus take the wheel. Like, you need to be celebrating all of your success. Any success you can get if the task is that difficult for you. Truly take some time out for yourself, because you don't want to experience burnout throughout this process and then find yourself in the same situation that you were before, basically, without any plan, and you felt like you were not doing anything or you felt stagnant. You don't want to find yourself in that same process. So celebrate those wins. You owe it to yourself. Even when you celebrate those wins, you will notice other things will start coming into place to help you feel like this whole experience is a reward. Again, going back to the fact that, the different outlets that have reached out to me just within a month's time span, like those for me are rewards. Once you actually start achieving and pursuing and actively going after your goals, the rewards will start coming to you in overflow. And it's like crazy how much they will start coming in and how fast they will start coming in. And they really outweigh the challenges and the difficulty, because it's like, I am pursuing something that I truly believe in, that I have my whole heart in, that I know is going to serve others, that I know is going to help people, that I know is positive and it's going to make a great impact. Like, all of those are rewards. And everything after you make that start, after you start that plan, everything after that will literally feel like a reward. It sounds super like cliche, super granola, super whatever, but it is truly a fact. Once you actually start your goals, start this idea that you have had locked in your head for too long, actually started on this plan that you put on your vision board, start that plan, and everything after, all the steps that you take leading up to that goal will literally feel like a reward. You will not always, at some point, you will no longer have to put in, reward myself and celebrate my small wins, during those milestones, because it'll just start coming to you anyway. And you're just going to be so amazed at the ripple effect of opportunity that will open up for you. And I guess if I circle back to the point that I made earlier about the person who has the mediocre mindset of I deserve, and you are not, actively doing anything to allow you to deserve those certain things, you really have to step back and really look at what's going on in your life. If you are doing the bare minimum at your job, do not expect the rewards of a grand promotion. It just does not work like that. You're trying to go from doing the bare minimum to reap your rewards, and you just skipped multiple steps in order to do that. It does not work out that way. If you have a business, if you if you are not investing in your business the way that you should, or as much as you should, and you are investing more in Fashion Nova than you are your business, do not expect revenue into your business. And you cannot be mad at people that does not purchase your products online if you don't have your investments right. If you are in the dating scene, do not expect to find the one if you are still somebody's number two. It's just not going to work out for you. You cannot skip steps in the process. It does not go from this is the idea I want to do to, okay, can I get $1 million check the next day? You have to go through a process, people. You have to be realistic about this process. You have to be realistic with yourself on whether you're going to attain this process. And really, when it comes to reaping your rewards, you really don't have to be that person, that's saying I deserve, because it will come to you. You will no longer have to make those type of comments, because if you are being realistic about your process and you are, being resilient in those challenges, the rewards will come to you. And the words and the phrase, I deserve to, get this certain salary, or I deserve to be with this type of person, will not even come to mind, because it will happen for you before you even think about saying that. So, you have to be diligent in your work. You have to honor the process that it takes in order to reap those rewards, and, the hard work that comes behind that. And if you are being true to yourself and following the right journey for yourself, it won't feel like work. So, those are my 3 points. Be realistic about your plan. How will you start? How will you get the ball rolling on your goals? How can you be resilient when, you might run into some roadblocks and you just can't control some of those things? But how will you react to some of those? And what will you do to gain wisdom and improve your personal development? And then finally, how will you appreciate the rewards that are given to you throughout the process? Because it doesn't necessarily always come at the end. It doesn't always have to be at the end once the goal is complete. It will happen to you throughout the process. So good things come to those who start. Think about those 3 points. What is something that you can actually start today to help you honor your process, begin the start of your journey, and be fulfilled in a lot of the goals that you have locked in your head? What are some things that you're going to take away? What are some things that you need to share with somebody needs to hear this? What are you going to start today? Hey there, Mediocre to Masterful is online. Visit mediocretomasterful.com to listen to our podcast or find us on iTunes. Share this episode with those you know in need of motivation. Through our site, you can join our Masterful email list to get freebies and helpful information. We're also on Instagram at Mediocre to Masterful and Twitter at M2Masterful. Thanks for listening.